Hello everyone, welcome to Arpita Sharma classes. I am Arpita Sharma, your educator, and today we are going to analyze the Hindu newspaper for 3rd of August 2020. आप सभी का स्वागत है अर्पिता शर्मा क्लासेस में। मैं हूं अर्पिता शर्मा और आज हम 3rd August 2020 का द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर एनालाइज करने जा रहे हैं। Before analyzing the newspaper, here's a small announcement. I am also starting to decode the editorials in the newspaper analysis. Right? So daily 1 or 2 editorials we are going to analyze with the other news as well. Alright, I hope that will be beneficial for all of you and I hope you will learn how to analyze the editorials with me in the class. Also, the class PDF will be uploaded on our Telegram channel, Simplifying UPSC with Ease. You can get the class PDFs from that channel. Link is given below in the description box. Alright, तो क्लास का अगर आपको कोई भी नोट मटेरियल या PDF चाहिए हो तो आप हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल से उसको डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं। लिंक नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिया है। द नेम ऑफ द टेलीग्राम चैनल इज सिंप्लीफाइंग यूपीएससी विद ईज। ऑलराइट, so चलो let's start decoding the newspaper. Here's a small announcement. I'm also taking live classes on Unacademy Plus. You can subscribe to Unacademy Plus, get 10% discount on using this referral code Sharma20. Here's a small announcement for all of you. I am taking prelims revision marathon, current affairs MCQs. This class is free of cost on Unacademy Plus. It will be a live special class free of cost on Unacademy Plus tomorrow, that is August 5, 2020 at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So you can subscribe to this course as well. It will cover the MCQs from current affairs for the upcoming prelims exam. You can practice them with me live for free. The link is given below in the description box. Okay? Chalo, so let's start decoding the newspaper then. The first important news, as you can see over here, is IISER team maps evolutionary dispersal patterns. So the scientists at the Pune-based Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, IISER, they have carried out experiments to study the phenomenon of density-dependent dispersal by observing around 29,000 fruit flies to see if evolution had modified their tendency to move towards or away from crowded regions. So fruit flies, they can ask you question in prelims on fruit flies. Let us understand what are fruit flies. So fruit flies are also known as vinegar flies or pomace flies. They are also known as wine flies. इसको हम wine flies भी बोलते हैं. And these are scientifically known as, इनका दूसरा नाम है, जो scientific name है वो है Drosophila. That is Drosophila. It's a genus of two-winged flies commonly known as the fruit flies that are used in evolutionary and developmental studies. Okay. So now, what are the findings of the report of IISER? IISER के report की findings क्या है? Females had been dispersing more than the males initially in a crowded place, in a crowded region. Fruit flies, how strongly they get dispersed, कितना ज़्यादा ये disperse हो जाती है, बिखर जाती है crowded regions में आकर, right? इनकी movement कितनी change होती है, इसके ऊपर test किया जा रहा है. So females had been dispersing more as compared to the males initially, but the males overtook females in movement after evolution. This finding is perhaps the first evidence for an evolutionary reversal in the dispersal of the two sexes, right? So now the study of biological dispersal finds applications in epidemiology. Now what is epidemiology? It is the scientific study of spread and control of diseases. रोगों के फैलने और उन पर नियंत्रण का वैज्ञानिक अध्ययन, महामारी का वैज्ञानिक अध्ययन या महामारी विज्ञान, उसको हम epidemiology बोलते हैं. It is useful for that, conservation of biodiversity as well as control of agricultural pests, right? You have to remember this for prelims. ये biological dispersal की study जो है, ये कहाँ, इसका use कहाँ पर है? Application means what is the use of this study of these findings? It is useful in epidemiology, conservation of biodiversity and control of agricultural pests. Also, density-dependent dispersal is central to our understanding of which life forms occur where, right? Clear? And the study highlights need to frequently assess movement patterns of ecologically relevant species as well. Now coming towards this editorial is Rebuild India's Confidence, Revive the Economy. The article is co-authored by former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and it discusses the economic impact of coronavirus or COVID-19 and suggest a few policy measures to address this challenge in the economy. So when we talk about the economic impact of the pandemic, India entered COVID-19 crisis in a very precarious position. Now what do you mean by precarious? Precarious means not safe or certain or dangerous, right? And is in Hindi it means अनिश्चित, right? हिंदी में इसको बोलते हैं असुरक्षित और अनिश्चित. It also means uncertainty, right? इसका मतलब uncertainty भी होता है. With slowing growth, rising unemployment and strained financial system. At that time when COVID-19 crisis entered India, there was rising unemployment, slowing down of economic growth and a very strained, very troubled financial system. The epidemic made all of these problems more painful. COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent regulations means the lockdown. Alright, the lockdown, the shutting up of businesses, it have had adverse impacts. Adverse means negative impacts on livelihoods and the larger economy. Economic impact of COVID-19 is expected to be bigger than the health impact itself. Right? We also have come across the loopholes in the health infrastructure. हमें health infrastructure में भी loopholes देखने को मिले हैं, right? And similarly, it is being predicted in this article that economic impact will be much higher than the health impact. Economic contraction does not just imply decrease in GDP, but marks a reversal of years of progress which India had encountered so far. For example, we can slip back into poverty. Many enterprises may be forced to shut down. Severe unemployment will lead to wastage of human resource of the entire generation, right? There is also the underlying sentiment of fear, uncertainty, insecurity prevalent in people, firms and institutions. So right now the impact is adverse. Moving ahead, the article also argues that slowdown in economic activity is a function of both external factors like lockdown and behavioral changes of people and enterprise driven by fear, calls for definitive and urgent steps to revive the economy back to good health. Urgent steps, whatever behavioral changes are there. Behavioral changes means the shutting down of enterprise, right? The people losing their jobs, their, not just normal jobs, well-defined corporate jobs. People are being laid off by the companies, right? So the article argues that the key to reviving India's economy would be to inject confidence back in the entire ecosystem involving the people, that is consumer, entrepreneurs and bankers. Also, we can recover very nicely if we improve confidence and sentiments in society using the economic tools of fiscal and monetary policies. Also, we can give direct cash assistance to the poor. In the cash support part also, we can give direct cash assistance to the poor people by strengthening the MGNREGA program. Next important editorial is a policy with many a right intention. Again, this article talks about the new education policy of 2020. यह article बात कर रहा है new education policy की, right? Clear? Now, when we talk about this policy, जब हम इस policy की बात करते हैं, majority of the path-breaking proposals submitted by K. Kasturirangan committee. So, first thing that you need to remember is the policy, this new education policy, the draft was made by K. Kasturirangan committee. 2019 में इस policy का draft policy को establish किया गया था. It have been approved while a few important proposals that figured in the draft have been ignored in the final policy, right? So what is the significance of this policy? First, education has been introduced as a public good. NEP 2020 has statements like education is a public good, the public education system is foundation of vibrant democratic society, etc. So that means the policy says that education is a public good. That means it should be freely available to the public. ये freely public को available होनी चाहिए. That means everybody has the right to education. Also, do tell me in the comment section, education comes under which subject? कौन से subject में या कौन से list में, which list, right? कौन से list में education subject आता है, right? Do tell me in the comment section. So the recognition of education as a public good would have important implications for public policy in planning, providing and financing education. Affordability, if it's a public good, that means it will become more and more affordable. राइट अब अगर ये पब्लिक गुड हो गया है इसका मतलब ये अफोर्डेबल होगा, इट विल बी एक्सेसिबल टू ऑल. राइट, पब्लिक एजुकेशन contributes immensely to social, economical, political, cultural and technological growth of the nation, as we all know. Also, the author focuses says that, and it points out very specifically that the policy lays emphasis on holistic education. NEP 2020 promotes holistic education involving both academic and non-academic spheres. When we discussed the NEP, we discussed that the extracurricular activities are no longer extracurricular. They are now a part of the curriculum, right? For example, dance, music and other art related activities, they are also a part of sports related activities which were extracurricular. Now they have been included in the curriculum. That means now education is becoming holistic. It is emphasizing even on extracurricular activities now. In school education, National Assessment Center will help make assessment and evaluation more holistic. Early childhood care is also there. The approval of 5+3+3+4 system in school education, incorporating early childhood care and education and the provision of breakfast in the school meal program. It would play a very important role in ensuring better learning outcomes and nutritional security also among the children. Now on paper all these points look wonderful, but let's see if they work wonders in implementation as well or not, right? But there have been certain important criticisms also. So what are the criticisms? Let's understand. Before that, let us understand the reforms which have been implemented in the higher education. The reforms proposed in higher education, like inclusion of multidisciplinary college system, offering choices to students from among a variety of subjects, the vision of integrated higher education system. This can help bridge the skill gap among the job market entrants also. Also, you all know that University Grants Commission, the UGC, has also been revamped now, right? इसको भी revamp कर दिया गया है. So what are the criticisms? Right, let us understand the criticisms now. Now, when we look at the criticisms about the policy, the draft policy promised doubling public expenditure on education to 20% of the total government expenditure. Right, it was earlier 10%. Whatever government's expenditure is there, 10% will be part of education expenditure. Now it has been doubled, 20% कर दिया है. 2020 policy simply reaffirms commitment to allocation of 6% of GDP. The draft policy recommended setting up of National Education Commission at national level and similar one at the state level. But there is no mention, underline this, there is no mention of state school education regulatory authorities in this new policy. The policy seems to avoid taking bolder moves like common school system, right? The article argues that despite the bold reforms, implementation of these reforms would be the real challenge, because you know, in the affiliating system, in the institutional mechanism, functional autonomy, all these things, they you know, the administrators, they face struggle, they struggle a lot, they face hardship while implementing all these things, right? So on paper this policy looks wonderful, but we will check if this policy works wonders when it is implemented or not. Next important news, Center seeks 3 more months for CAA rules. CAA means the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, which was passed in December 2019. As per the Manual on Parliamentary Work, statutory rules, regulations and bylaws will be framed within a period of 6 months from the date on which relevant statute came into force. 6 months have already passed. So Home Ministry has asked for the extension of 3 months to frame the rules of Citizenship Act 2019, right? So the CAA rules definitely is going to come in prelims this year. Definitely it is going to come, right? So you have to prepare it very, very well. This was all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you really enjoyed it, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Thank you and have a beautiful night ahead.